Hello everyone, my name is SK or SKumar, and this is going to be one of the many videos I'll be posting under my YouTube channel. So the basic purpose of this video is many people call me up and ask me about why this market is behaving the way it is right now, and as you can see, many days it just keeps going without any retracement and at all. And intraday we see big volatility. So why is it behaving the way it is? And what we could do, and so many people are concerned, whether the recession is coming up and things like that. So the whole purpose of this video is to just kind of a basic introduction of financial astrology and how the markets can be predicted. Okay, with financial astrology, which means that the way the planets that are around Earth, okay, that are revolving around Sun, how basically our neighboring planets, right, and how they impact the financial markets. It's a less known strategy and less known idea. So many people have big aversion to this way of trading, but you know what, in my opinion and in my experience, the financial markets behave uh, by or controlled to some extent by our neighboring planets, including Sun and Moon. Okay, and um, uh, and if you keep observing how the markets behave when Earth comes under the influence of these planets, and it's easily predictable. In my opinion, about 80 to 90% accuracy you can predict the market basically. Okay, and you can predict intraday and to the minute by minute as well, and also seasonality perspective as well. So one of the reasons why the market, there is a reason for the market keeps tricking. Irrespective of any bad news, irrespective of any news out there, continues to some forces continues to pull the market up. You may have noticed that, and I have an explanation from financial astrology perspective. So what is financial astrology? Basically, as I said, that it's a study of influence of the planets in our solar system influencing Earth, basically. So you may have noticed that, just give you a simple example of the low tide and the high tides that occur pretty much every day, right? And also you may have noticed that during full moon time we have the biggest, we call it the neap tide and spring tide, right? So like a kind of water in in the ocean is kind of bulges outward, and that happens on during full moon time. Why? Because there is a gravitational force, there is a magnetic field, right? And that kind of attracts Earth, so moon attracts that water content basically. Okay, and similarly every planet in the solar system, they all have an influence on Earth, believe it or not. Okay, and we know that they all have their own magnetic field, right? Earth itself has a magnetic field too, right? So, financial astrology is basically a study of how these magnetic fields impacts Earth, and whether the financial markets have an impact, and how it can be predicted. And um, so how do they impact? Basically, so if you as I said, in the example of full moon time, right? And if you look at full moon, there are a lot of statistics. Most of the accidents happen on full moon time. If you look at the police records, most of the crimes and most of the burglaries and things like that, they all happen during full moon time. Why? Because people think in certain way. Because what, if moon can cause a big bulge in the ocean, right? So the Earth's water, Earth is basically made up of two-thirds of water, right? So that big portion of that water in the ocean can get bulged out. um, then don't you think that so human beings also have 72% or 70% or something like that, the water, so human body is basically made up of 72% water, and they have an impact on the human mind as well. And market is nothing but a lot of a bunch of human beings, they behave or they think in certain way. Okay, that's what the market is. So if you keep observing this and you will see a pattern. Okay, and so my whole research has been in finding out how the markets behave when earth comes under the influence of certain planets. And how does it happen? Because as you know that we get sunlight, we get light, so earth gets the light directly from sun and also from moon as well, right? So moon kind of transmits sun's light into, or deflects or reflects sun's energy or sun's light into earth, right? So similarly, each planet's energy, so each planet has got its own magnetic field and they have energy, right? So they get deflected by moon onto Earth. Okay, so if you keep observing, as we know that Moon revolves around Earth, and Earth revolves around Sun, and every other planet revolves around Sun as well, right? But if you, from an Earth perspective, if you look at it as Earth rotates its own axis, it just comes in contact with the Moon, its magnetic field, and then Moon kind of collects the energy from other planets and then transfers into Earth. Okay, um, into Earth's orbit basically. So based on that, and several times of the day, and or like from a seasonality perspective, several days, and you can see Earth being under the influence of certain planets. Okay, and this happens during intraday also because Earth rotates on its own axis, right? So I have a chart up here, so this is basically a dynamic trend for e-signal chart. Okay, and of E-mini futures, S&P futures actually. This today is 4th April, right? So I have few boxes drawn here, with the different colors, and different planet names. So we look at so when you study financial astrology, we look at it from like you know even though there are 9 planets that are revolving around Sun, we don't consider the farthest planets like such as Pluto and Uranus and Neptune because they don't have much of an impact from an like an Indian astrology perspective, basically. So my way of trading is looking into or the planets that are very close to Earth, such as basically the star, Sun, okay, and uh, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and then other than and Moon, and then other than that, there are two other elements. Basically, they call North Node and South Node in uh, Western astronomy, and in Indian astrology we call it Rahu and Ketu. Okay, they are 180-degree opposite. So what is that, Rahu and Ketu? They are basically, it's kind of a, we call it ancient Indians used to call that as a planet. It's not really a planet, but it's a kind of a shadow energy. It transfers so much of energy into Earth. Basically, it's North Node and South Node is nothing but, or Rahu and Ketu are nothing but it's a kind of when Moon's magnetic field cuts Earth magnetic field, creates a kind of a force, certain magnetic force. That's what Rahu and Ketu are actually. Okay, but the important thing is that so we have 9 planets. We call it, including Sun, we call it a planet basically. Okay, and just for you know uh, uh, easiness of calculation. Okay, so 9 planets. So starting from Sun, okay, and then Mercury, Venus, Mars, um, Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu and Ketu. They all revolve around Sun. Okay, now, and also they come in contact with Earth because of Earth's rotation on its own axis every single day. So I use intraday trading. So this is specifically not for positional trading. This is for intraday trading. I use that how Moon transmits those magnetic field onto Earth, basically from collecting from these planets. Okay. So and each day there are certain windows, there are timing windows where Moon transfers this to Earth, and I keep a note of it. I just kind of, this is hand-drawn boxes here, and they have different colors. And what do they represent? Anything that you see green are bullish, actually, for that particular day. Okay, so you're looking at a 4th of April. So we have, Mars, Sun, and Ketu window. They were, bullish windows, and then we have a kind of red, so that. we don't have anything today, and I'll show you. So red is basically a bearish, and this magenta color is consolidation phase actually. So consolidation, we can predict that as well. Okay, then we have white here. That's basically, it's called a debilitation, which means that debilitation means that's when Earth is farthest from that particular planet. In this case, this particular time period, it was Mercury actually. Okay, and then we have yellow. So this basically means volatile. You've got to be extremely careful when that window comes. Okay, it's going to be volatile. That's what it is. Okay, and then we have blue here. That's basically, it's by nature is going to be bullish. Okay, so these were the timing windows, starting from, this is like started, this is the Pacific Standard Time. Okay, started last evening. If you look at it, last evening around, like 5:50, right? So when the futures started trading around 3 o'clock my Pacific time, as you can see this here, actually, there's a little bit of consolidation here. Okay, and then it went up and then came down. So when it's debilitation, it could be either 50-50, or it could be one-way trend in either direction. It could be up or it could be down. Okay, and then we have a few consolidation phases, and then, so when the market started, okay, so you can see that we have three bullish windows here. We had three. This one didn't do much. So Ketu didn't do much. Sun took it up. You can see that. Okay, and then Moon came in, consolidated that, and before that we had Venus consolidated that. Okay, and now these are all, you can verify it elsewhere actually. Okay, these windows. Okay, and then Mars is bullish. It took it up, and then came in this Rahu. Now Rahu is very, there's a specific characteristic for Rahu. Rahu is known for high volatility, which means that it first takes the market up and then brings it down. And when it brings it down, drops it so hard that it's extremely difficult. And if you don't really realize when it's coming, it'll take your money away. It doesn't matter, you may be probably following some technicals and things like that, and you may be sitting pretty, with a nice profit, and all of a sudden market just takes a turn and wipes out your profits. Okay, that's what happens. And you know what? Yeah, for me, I know the way the market turns right now. I know that is the Rahu time. Okay, so this is what caused it. You can see that Mars took the market to the upside, and then it, you know, turned into Rahu. Okay, and then immediately market dropped, and then, you can see this volatility. Okay, so this is what happens in Rahu's time. Okay, and if you look at positional, and actually Rahu has a big impact on Earth right now, and on our indices. Okay, and that is what is carrying the market up. Okay, and this year it is going to carry the market up, and it's going to drop it down to, challenge the January 4th low that we had. Okay, so you can just put that or mark it somewhere, and one of the reasons why the market is moving up, irrespective of all the news, you can see that probably some news comes out, market tanks, but still the market is back up again. It's the work of Rahu basically. Okay, it takes the market up first and then brings it down, and brings it down with several jerks here. So you can see that just several volatility swings here, right? And that's the way it happens. Okay, and I can show you another example here. This is like going back in time. Here, yesterday, this was yesterday. You can see that same window here. Okay, pretty much the same window here we had. um, when the market started, we were in kind of consolidation phase, some Moon, and then, and just came down, and then when March started, it took it up, because that is bullish, supposed to be bullish yesterday, and then handed it over to Rahu. It took it up. So remember that, as I said, that Rahu takes out the previous swing high. It doesn't like the previous planet, whatever high that it has created. It doesn't like that. It just takes it out briefly, at least briefly. It takes it out and then brings it down. Okay, then promptly it brought it down. So you can see that big volatility. Pretty much most of the, yesterday we were sitting at what, 30 point in ES or S&P 30 point or something like that. It brought all that down before it transitioned to Saturn, which is kind of consolidation phase here. Okay, so it's kind of consolidation. You can see that consolidation here. Okay, then there is a debilitation phase, up and then down. Okay, so that also does the same thing. Previous swing, it looks at the previous swing, takes it up and then brings it down, but it's not as volatile as Rahu. Okay, So I just wanted to show you this, okay, and that is what causes. And you know what? Knowing this is extremely important, because if you know this, yeah, can you position your trade accordingly? When I see Rahu, it's I get excited because I can trade futures, okay, and I trade futures, okay. And if you are not trading futures, either you can stay out during this window, okay, or you can probably pick up some options, like Aspire options or QQQ or something like that, so you can, yeah, IWM, something like that, you can trade that and make money consistently. I trade futures and based on this window, so I don't need any. I do have few moving averages. That's pretty much it. But you know what? As soon as this window comes in, gets in, I see that bullish window. Okay, I have a trigger, that I look at. I just I can show you this trigger. I use that trigger to go long, okay, and then I stay away. When I see this consolidation, I stay away. I don't trade during this window, because why? You want to get chopped up. See, imagine that you are able to predict what is coming up and how long it's going to last, and what are the consolidation phases, what are the bullish phases, what are the bearish cases, and when it's going to be volatile. So either you can, if you're comfortable, you can trade that volatility, or for me, futures, I'm going to show you in the next video as how you can take advantage of this. So every day I make a living basically, and by using these volatility and these bullish windows and bearish windows. Actually, I don't trade these, okay, I stay away from these, okay, but I trade this bullish window. So when I see this, last night I saw this, the bullish window coming up, so like I just watched up to the European market, and I saw that it's kind of consolidating and going sideways, okay, and I went long. Why? Because I knew that there are two bullish windows coming up. I went long in ES and stayed without any stop. Okay, I trade that without any stop. Why? Because even if there is some news comes out, guess what? I know that the planets are going to bring it back up. The sun, which is bullish yesterday, last night, okay, and this Mars is going to bring it back up. I know that it's going to bring it back up. So I don't keep any stops, okay, and it brought it back up. Before it got into Rahu, I exited, and then I traded to the downside and to the upside, and this one too. And how do you measure these, or how do you know these uh, swings are coming? And that's where I use my trigger mechanism. So my trigger mechanism looks like this. Okay, this is a kind of a indicator that I came up with based on this. Okay, and these zones, red and green zones indicated that to go long and short basically. Okay, so if you really look at, this was today's action, right? This is again 5-minute chart of E-mini futures. Okay, and you can see that this red zone, so when it when Earth came under the influence of Rahu, and it gave me a short trigger here. Okay, so I just went short. Okay, and then I got a long trigger. Okay, I went long. Okay, so if you look at it here, I wait for a first red candle to go short. I entered here, right here. Okay, so basically the entry was here, 28.80, 150, something like that. Okay, and exit when it hits these target channels, so you can see that price is kind of contained between these target channels, right? So I trade from one target channel to next, so 28.82 or so to 28, a couple of points, 2 points basically. Then I got a long trigger here, okay, and waited for the first green candle, next candle opening. I went in 28.77, okay, and then exited, okay, and when I got this red zone again right here. Okay, so that's about 28.81. Okay, that's about 4 points. So 4 plus 2, that's 6 points. And then from there, you have a short trigger here, go short around 28.8175. And then as it hits the target channel bottom, exit. Okay, it's 28.75. So that's the 6 points. So 6 plus 6, that is 12 points already within 1 hour, 12 points. Okay, so that's about 600 bucks, folks. Okay, then from there we got a long trigger again, so go long right here, 28.77, exit. Closer to this one didn't hit the target channel, and it stopped me out for break even. Okay, And then I got another. It didn't go short because there was no short trigger here. Okay, and there was another trigger. These are all Rahu window. I can trade this because I know that we are in Rahu window. It's going to create volatility. Okay, from here I got a long trigger, exited, entered here 28.74 and exited right here at 28.77, 3 points. That is again 9 points. So daily you will be able to create. Okay, now there are a couple of stop outs here too. You can see that this one didn't come down to the target channel down, would have stopped the out basically. Okay, and then but it would have compensated here. So this long trigger would have compensated for this one too. Okay, and so there may be a couple of stopouts, but 80% of the time these triggers will stay within those volatility period, and where you can trade very comfortably and to create a daily income. So I create, so off of one contract I can create anywhere from $500, $800, $1,000 basically, and one contract, just one contract. Imagine that, if you can, trade one contract of E-mini futures is basically about $6,600 margin. That's it. Okay. So imagine if you can trade with a couple of uh, contracts and things like that. So that's how I trade. I use these triggers, while I watch this, and every day I mark this. Okay, and basically I just give out this template to my mentees. So I have a mentorship program where I handhold people. I share my charts on a daily basis, right from market open to market close, and I educate everyone about how these financial markets work, intraday as well as positional too. So I'll talk about that in another video. Okay, and so if you are interested in mentorship program, and now it's not going to be for anybody who is looking for a cheap tricks, because this is predictive works, folks. Imagine that, so if you knew that next window is coming up, right? Okay, that is going to be volatile. Imagine what value, what price tag would you put for that knowledge? Okay, imagine tomorrow, what kind of market action that you are going to get for that knowledge. What price tag would you put in? Okay, so this is what the financial astrology is all about, and how I trade intraday using financial astrology. Okay, and now if you are a positional trader, just look out for another video. I'll explain how the positional trading works. Okay, and which means that you can hold it for maybe for a week to 12 days, 13 days, a month, and a couple of months as well. Okay, so if you're interested, hit me up on this um, detail here. Okay, and this is my contact information. I go by SKumar or SK. FinAstroTrader@gmail.com. Okay, 510-274-1565. Send me a text message, and I'll give you an orientation. I'll show you how you can profit from intraday trading every single day. Okay, to create a daily income. So till the next video, talk to you later.